This is the Easy Betting Show. My name is Easy, and it is finally time for the NFL. Games start in about an hour and a half. I'm sure y'all are as excited as I am to watch these games. So I'm not going to talk very long in this one. I'm just going over the Sunday night football and the Monday night football games. A few plays in each. Talk a little bit about the games and then touchdowns, first touchdowns for each game. Going to be fun. Going to be a great day. Before I get started in that, just because two crazy things dropped right before I started this, one being Dak Prescott. He finally got paid, which comes as a little bit of a surprise to me, considering the Cowboys had three guys that they were going to pay, and they decided to do Dak first, which seemed to me like the least likely of the three options, but whatever. 4-year, $240 million contract, now the highest paid. So you can no longer say that about Jordan Love. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Dak's all that good. So I don't know if they're going to regret it necessarily or not, but I don't know. To me, it's just kind of a weird time to do it. Also, more importantly for today, Tyreek Hill got arrested on the way to the stadium. Well, okay, he didn't get arrested. He got detained. But it's still nuts. 2 hours before the game starts, and videos are popping up that Tyreek Hill's in cuffs laying on the ground right outside the stadium. It's just crazy. My guess is he probably tried to talk some shit to the cops, and that never goes well for anybody, and that's what ended up detaining him. But they're saying he's still going to play. So if he does actually end up playing, which as of right now, that's looking likely, I would bet his everything because he's probably going to play like a pissed off teenager. And yeah, I mean, a pissed off Tyreek is probably pretty good for bets. Anyway, I'm going to get into these two games. Obviously, I am way more excited about one than I am the other one, and that is the Sunday night football game. Finally getting to watch the Lions play again after the disappointing NFC Championship. Very excited for this one. Rams at Lions. I'm not going to bet the spread or money line or anything like that in either one of these two games, mainly because I just don't bet Lions games when it comes to the lines. If you want that, I think the Lions are going to win. I think the Lions are going to cover. I did see that the spread went up to 4.5 this morning. I think we win by a touchdown, so I would still bet that. But I think the line is just because so many people are betting on the Lions from what I've seen, so that kind of sucks. But either way, I just think the Lions are the better team here. I mean, obviously we won last year in the playoffs. In the offseason, we got better, especially on defense, while the Rams got worse, at least in my opinion. I mean, they have pretty much the same offense, other than they also got Blake Corum, which I don't know how much that'll really help them. Obviously, he'll get some touches, but I think Kyron Williams is probably still going to be the guy for them for the majority. On defense, though, obviously they lost Aaron Donald, and that's huge for the team, huge for the NFL. He was the guy when you were playing the Rams. And now that they don't have him, that's going to hurt them a lot on defense. And going up against the Lions, who pretty much have the best offense in the NFL, I know that's questionable, but obviously I'm biased, but I'm still leaning the Lions. I think we're just going to be able to open it up on them. I think our run game is going to be good. Obviously, our passing game is going to be really good. And winning by one in the playoffs, I think turns into a touchdown win in this game. So I think the line going up should not scare you. I think you should still probably bet the Lions. I'll probably bet the over too. I've been saying all offseason, I think our defense is going to be substantially better than it was last year, at least in the passing game. But I don't think it's going to be there week one. We have a lot of young guys on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously that takes a little bit to get adjusted. So our secondary isn't going to look as good as I think it can be this year in week one or even week two of the season. So we're still going to get thrown on some. I think our rush defense is going to be just as good as it was last year, maybe even a little bit better because we did get a couple of guys to kind of strengthen up the defensive line. And yeah, I don't think the Rams are going to be able to take this. I could be wrong, of course, which is why I don't bet Lions game because I am a little bit biased. But let me get into the player props that I am betting for this game. The first one is my favorite of maybe the slate of the entire NFL week slate, but definitely my favorite for these two games, and that's Sam Laporta over 53.5 receiving yards. It's minus 113. I'm going to throw 1.2 units on that. I love Laporta in this game. I think they're going to try to get him started early. I think the defense is going to try to shut down Amon-Ra, so Laporta is going to get extra grabs. And also, if you remember, but last year in the playoff game, Josh Reynolds got a lot of catches for a lot of yards. Well, he's not on the team this year. So I think his targets go to really two guys, and that's Sam Laporta, who was already getting a bunch of targets, and Jameson Williams. So Laporta, 53.5 is just way too low. I think he's probably closer to 70 in this game. Easy bet for me. I love that bet. The second one that I have is the other guy that's getting Josh Reynolds targets, and that's Jameson Williams over 39.5 receiving yards. Also minus 113, also 1.2 units. Jameson Williams is going to be a key part of this offense this year. Without Josh Reynolds and without really a steady set of receivers behind Amon-Ra, Laporta, and now Jameson Williams, he's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to get the majority of Josh Reynolds' targets from last year. He's going to get the bulk of the deep balls. And because he blocks so well, I think they're going to try to give him more short stuff to kind of reward his blocking ability that he did so well last year. On top of that, Jared Goff and Dan Campbell have both talked about how much they love Jameson Williams and how much work he's put in this offseason. So they're going to reward that. You know, he's the hardest working dude on a hard working team. He's going to get a lot of targets. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets at least double the targets that he got last year, which wasn't very many. I believe it was right around 45. But yeah, he's going to be an integral part of this offense this year. And I think it starts in this game tonight. And 40 yards, he could get 40 yards in one reception. So again, just an easy line here for me. The next one that I have, which I'm hoping doesn't, I mean, I'm hoping it hits, obviously, because I want to win, but it would not be good for the Lions. Puka Nacua, longest reception over 24.5 yards, minus 110, 1.1 unit on that one. Like I said, I think our defense is going to be much better this year, but I don't think the passing game is going to be, I don't think the passing defense is going to be great in week one. It's just too many young guys, too many guys trying to get their footing in the NFL. And I just don't see that coming to fruition in this game, especially against this offense. And Puka Nacua last year in the playoff game, he had like 3 or 4 catches over 24.5 yards. So for him to not be able to get one in this game, to me, is just crazy. So that is my third one. And yeah, Daniel, I'll repeat all of them once I get through. I have one more in this game, and then I'll just go through all 4 real quick. The last one that I have is Colby Parkinson over 2.5 receptions. That's plus 102. So I'm putting a unit on that. The Lions were not very good against tight ends last year. It was kind of, obviously the entire passing game wasn't very good last year, but against tight ends specifically, we just weren't great. And on top of that, Matthew Stafford loves going to tight ends. So for Parkinson to have 3 receptions seems low to me, especially at plus money. I think he's going to be a big red zone target. And I think he's also going to be a first down guy. You know, if they get into like 3rd and short, they're probably going to go short pass instead of running it because our run defense was so good last year. So I think this sets up very well for Colby Parkinson. And I think 3 receptions is a very easy grab for him. So just to repeat those 4 that I have in that game: Sam Laporta over 53.5 receiving yards, Jameson Williams over 39.5 receiving yards, Puka Nacua, longest reception over 24.5 yards, and Colby Parkinson over 2.5 receptions. Those are my favorite 4 for this game. I also think Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff both have a very good chance of getting over their passing yards. I just didn't take it personally because I didn't want to overload a Sunday night football game in week 1. But both of those have a great shot too. Jahmyr Gibbs rushing yards is a good look. I really like Jameer Gibbs' longest rush over, I believe it was 13 and a half. That seems low to me as well, especially against this defense now without Aaron Donald. I think he could easily get that. So that would probably be my 5th favorite if I was to do that, but I'm just going to go with these 4 officially. But yeah, Jameer Gibbs' longest rush is a great one too. Now for the anytime touchdowns in this game, I got 3.5, kind of, and you'll see why I say that in a second. So the first one is Jameer Gibbs minus 125. I have 1.3 units on that one. I think he's just going to be a big piece of this offense today. Like I said, he's got the ability to break long runs. I think we are kind of putting him more into RB1 space this year. I know David Montgomery splits time with him, but I think Jameer Gibbs is going to be of both of them sharing. I think Jameer Gibbs is going to be like 60 to the 40. So I do like him a little bit more in this one than David Montgomery. And I know David Montgomery is going to get the like inside the 5 work, but that's not really what I'm banking on here. I'm banking on Jameer Gibbs getting something from probably outside the 10 or possibly even a pass receiving touchdown, because Jameer Gibbs is used a lot in the passing game. And this could be a big game for him in the passing game, especially to score. The other one that I have, well, 2 more. Next one I have is Puka Nacua plus 130, 1 unit on that. This just makes too much sense. I mean, Puka Nacua went nuts against us in the playoffs last year. He went nuts last year as a whole. He's probably Stafford's number 1 guy ahead of Kupp now, but you don't really know going into the season. I would say they're probably 1A, 1B at this point. But the books seem to think that Nacua is the number 1 guy because his yards were like 20, 25 over Cooper Kupp's in this game. Yeah, I just think Puka Nacua is going to most definitely score against our secondary. You know, as I've said like 3 or 4 times already, we're just really young. And I don't think we can be as good as we're going to be in week 1. So obviously that sets Puka up really well to score a touchdown. Last one that I have in this game is Sam Laporta. I've already talked about him. Plus 150, 1 unit. I'm also betting Laporta 2+ touchdowns at plus 1,000. I'm going to put half a unit on that as well. And as I said earlier, I think he's going to have a really good game. I don't think the Rams are going to be great against tight ends. I think they're going to try to shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think Laporta is going to be the guy in this one, especially in the red zone, because they're probably going to try to stop the run in the red zone. And that obviously leaves tight ends open. So love Laporta in this game. Touchdowns, receiving yards, all of it. It's great. Last part of this game, first touchdowns. If you haven't been on here yet when I've talked about first touchdowns, this is how I do first touchdowns. I get 4 guys, 2 from each team, and I bet a quarter of a unit on all 4. So total 1 unit. I don't bet the chalky up at the top guys. If I do, I'll change the odds, but typically I don't do that because to me, first touchdowns are an odds play and you're looking for the best value here. So I'm just going to get into it. Quarter unit on all 4 of these guys. The first one is, once again, Sam Laporta at plus 1,000. I mean, he's really the 3rd best choice on the Lions outside of the running backs and Amon-Ra. So plus 1,000 to me is crazy odds for that. So love that. Second guy is another guy I've already talked about, Puka Nacua plus 1,300. Again, plus 1,300 is crazy. You're only getting plus 130 for the anytime, but plus 1,300 for the first touchdown. That's crazy. So yeah, Sam Laporta, Puka Nacua. The next two, Jameson Williams plus 1,600. I didn't bet his anytime because I think if he does score, it's probably going to be either like a deep ball or one of those end around pitch pass kind of thing that like Jaden Reed scored on Friday. Something like that's got a great chance with Jameson. We did it last year in the playoffs. So Jameson Williams plus 1,600, just kind of an odds play there. I think he's got a great chance of scoring, but anybody on the Lions has a great chance of scoring. So you're basically just taking your pick on, hey, which one do I think? And I like Jameson. Last guy, Colby Parkinson plus 2,600. And again, we're bad against tight ends. At least last year we were bad against tight ends. So I think if they get inside the 5, inside the 10, I think we're probably going to be able to stop their run game at least, once or twice to where they're going to be looking to throw. And Colby Parkinson, Stafford loves throwing to tight ends in the end zone. Colby Parkinson, great shot there. Plus 2,600 is just great. And on to the second game, Monday Night Football, Jets at 49ers. Obviously, the question everyone's asking is, can Aaron Rodgers stay healthy? I think he probably will, but I don't know if he's going to be 100% in this one. I mean, he basically hadn't played in a year and a half other than 4 plays. So you don't really know what you're going to get. I mean, I know it's Aaron Rodgers, so yeah, you're probably going to get Aaron Rodgers, but I'm taking the 49ers in this one. I feel like you have to. And I think the 49ers cover. I think it's closer than a lot of people think it's going to be, but I do think they cover. My plays for this one, Aaron Rodgers over 235.5 passing yards, minus 113, 1.2 units. Like I just said, I think he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to be, maybe not typical Aaron Rodgers, but typical adjacent Aaron Rodgers. And 235.5 just seems low for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you got guys like Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford up in 270. And you're getting Rodgers under 240. That, to me, that's just really low. So yeah, I think he easily clears this. 250 alt line might be a good bet too, but I'm just going to take the straight up over 235.5. Next one that I have is Deebo Samuel over 48.5 receiving yards, minus 113, 1.2 units. I know they're going to be going against the Jets defense, which is good. They got a lot of good DBs in their secondary, but it's Deebo. They're going to get Deebo involved. Even if it's in, like the short game, the little like pitch pass type shit or bubbles or whatever, they're going to get Deebo involved in some way, shape, or form. I almost took his rushing and receiving, but it goes from 48.5 to like 77, which to me is nuts. So I'm riding with the 48.5 and just expecting them to get Deebo involved. The last player prop I have for this one is Breece Hall over 27.5 receiving yards. Also minus 113, 1.2 units. And I think Breece Hall has a pretty good game overall, but I think they're definitely going to get him involved in the passing game. Screens and dump offs. And he could potentially be a security blanket for Aaron Rodgers early coming back, who, doesn't want to face the pressure up in his face, so he just dumps it off to Breece Hall. I don't know why I keep saying Bryce Hall. Breece Hall. Yeah, so I think 27.5 is very doable for him. And yeah. Touchdown scores. I got 3 of those too. Christian McCaffrey first half touchdown score. It's plus 145, so I have 1 unit on that. That's basically why I took this. I mean, he's pretty much going to score in this game, and the odds for his anytime is terrible. So I took his first half touchdown because you get much better odds on that. And that's pretty much it. I'll be betting Christian McCaffrey first half touchdown probably every game he's healthy. And I know he's not technically healthy in this one, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. And if he plays, he's going to get in the end zone. Next one is Deebo Samuel. Anytime touchdown plus 155, 1 unit. And that's pretty much for the exact reason why I took his receiving yards. They're going to get him involved. And he's with the touchdown as opposed to the receiving yards, he could score on a run play. Kind of like I said with Jameson Williams earlier. So really like that one. And then the last one is another guy I've already talked about, Breece Hall, plus 125, 1 unit on that as well. And again, that could be in the rush or the passing game. So I think he's got a great chance to score. He's probably got the best chance to score of anybody on the Jets. Maybe Garrett Wilson. I don't know. But love those 3. And then last, my first touchdowns for the Monday Night Football game. Again, 4 guys, quarter unit on all 4 of them. First one is Deebo Samuel, plus 950. George Kittle, plus 1,100. And this is pretty much a red zone play. They don't throw to him a ton anymore. He has games where they don't throw to him much, and then they have games where he goes for like 150 yards. So either way, whether it's don't throw to him much or throw to him a bunch, they love him in the red zone. And if it's not Debo, it's probably going to be George Kittle. If it's not Christian McCaffrey. And you can't take Christian McCaffrey's first touchdown because it's like plus 200 or some crazy shit. So I'm basically just banking that if the 49ers score first, it's not McCaffrey. The other two guys, Mike Williams, plus 1,400. I know he's going to get limited action in this game coming off his ACL. They're not going to play him to his full capability. But with his size, I feel like the limited action he could get could be in the red zone. And if he's on the field when they're inside the 10, there's a very good chance Aaron Rodgers throws up a fade to him and he can get the first touchdown. So I definitely want a piece of the plus 1,400 that they have him on. And then the last guy, Tyler Conklin, plus 1,900. This is more of just an odds play for a tight end. You know, once you get down inside that red zone, Breece Hall gets stopped on first down. Aaron Rodgers is looking to throw. Aaron Rodgers wants his first touchdown in a year and a half, so he's going to be looking for a guy. They're going to try to lock down Garrett Wilson. You got Tyler Conklin right there. So at plus 1,900, I really like that. Yeah, and that's all I got for this one. Pretty simple. Enjoy watching football today. Hope all of y'all's teams win, unless it is the Rams. And then, sorry, but I hope y'all suck. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure to like and subscribe for me. It really helps me out a lot. Tell your friends to like and subscribe. Do everything you can for me. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.